самая нужная передача, которая только может существовать на нашем радио, и вообще передача, которая называется «Thank God It's Tuesday» с раввином Манисом Фридманом, который вот в это время так любезно с нами проводит этот час и столько добра, света, мудрости предоставляет нашей аудитории, и делает он это на самом деле ежедневно, ежечасно, вообще всему миру, его знают все, его ценят все, и безумно все уважают, потому что он действительно очень-очень знающий человек, очень мудрый человек, он был очень близок к нашему великому лидеру поколения Ребе Менахему Менделу Шнейрсону. И сейчас вот мы уже почти готовы. Я надеюсь, что Ребби Фридман уже с нами. Да, вот я его вижу. И вопрос, который мы хотели бы сегодня с ним обсудить, это, конечно, был спровоцирован последними авардами Грэмми, церемонией Грэмми, где так явно присутствовало и даже вот какой-то вот, я не знаю, вот такая вот творческий подход к сатане. И вот, конечно, вопрос у меня: есть ли сатана, существует ли сатана на самом деле? То есть это реальное, что сатана есть, это реальное явление, и насколько правильно его предоставили на последней церемонии Грэмми. Было немножко страшно и противно, не знаю, мне, согласны ли все остальные со мной. Но, в общем, по крайней мере, вот это и есть то, чего мы сегодня хотим обсудить с раввином Манисом Фридманом, и я уже больше не теряю времени и сразу перехожу к нашей беседе. Rabbi Manis Friedman, hello, thank God it's Tuesday. So happy to have you on the radio with us, especially with all the fun stuff that is happening. And my question to you today is, does Satan exist? Is he real? It real? I don't know exactly how to address it. And was he properly portrayed during the last Grammy Awards, which took place last Sunday? It was very prominent, very... I don't know. I did not watch the Grammy, and I'm sure a lot of our listeners don't either, but it's all over the internet. It's a lot of red, flashy, fiery stuff, which was probably the centerpiece of the last Sunday's Grammy Awards, and for everybody to see, including children, elderlies, primetime TV. So that would be my question to you today.
Well, I must have been very distracted because I heard nothing about it. What did they show? What was...
They showed Satan in the middle of the stage. The whole Grammy venue was bright red with fire. Satan in the middle, cages.
Okay.
I don't think I'm actually able to describe the whole thing properly.
So at least they're describing themselves properly.
Well, it seems, yes. It seems like the cat is out of the bag completely. I mean, it seems to be there's this real fascination with Satanism in Hollywood and especially in the music industry. Unfortunately to say, it's been around for a while. Why the fascination? And I think it's never been as portrayed and as out there as it has been during this last Grammy Awards. So I don't know. What do we make out of it? What is it? I mean, and yeah, and of course, I do want to understand better and have our audience understand better about this Satan concept and what are we up against here, Rabbi Friedman?
Well, we're up against a lot of unholy stuff going on in the world, and people are trying to, I guess, get a handle on it. What is the source of evil? What brings evil into the world? What personifies evil? If we could put a name on it, it won't be so scary. So it's not that we're trying to make it more scary, we're trying to make it less scary by identifying it, even putting a picture to it. But that's just desperation. It's nothing. I was busy, just to be a little personal for a moment. I was busy last night and the night before. We had a wedding for one of our grandchildren here in Brooklyn. And it was just so, the contrast.
Mazel tov, mazel tov.
Thank you, thank you. You know, the simcha, the joy, the togetherness, the optimism, just for hours and hours, just wallowing in innocence and in goodness. It's the best medicine in the world. So yes, it's becoming very difficult to maintain a positive and optimistic attitude towards life, towards the world. But I guess the harder it gets, the more important it becomes, not less important. So we have to be more optimistic and more positive than ever, because that's what we are in the danger of losing. So if there's a threat to something, then you have to protect that something even more than before. And the threat is the threat to our ability to think positive, to maintain a positive goal, not give up. But everything in the media, everything in the lifestyles of people are all designed to make us give up. Stop fighting it. You can't fight it. It's everywhere. It's all over. It's just what's happening. There's no alternative. That's terrible, terrible, terrible. There has always been an alternative, and that is evil. Evil is the alternative. The default position is goodness and innocence and holiness. It's always been like that. And it's still true. It's still true. People really are good and sensitive and compassionate. Okay, there are exceptions. But that just proves the point. The exceptions are so horrific. I don't know if we talked about this in the past weeks. What exactly is fear of God? I can understand love of God. We owe him a lot, whatever we have. Even the bad news all comes from him. So yeah, well, why the fear? Or what does it even mean? Am I afraid of what he's going to do to me? Am I afraid of him or of Satan? Am I afraid of him or of pain? Whatever that pain might be. I just heard somebody describe, who was it? I forget. But somebody said, what is heaven and hell? Heaven is heaven. It's a godly place where only godliness exists. So for some people, living in a state of pure godliness is heaven. For other people, that same condition is hell. They can't stand all that godliness, and they suffer from it. All right, so fear doesn't mean fear of punishment. That's not a virtue. That's not a godly concern. Even animals are afraid of pain. But when something is so compelling that you have no choice but to do it, that's called fear. Love means I'm drawn to it, I love it, I like doing it, it's my pleasure, it's me. But when something is so compelling that I don't have a choice, I just have to do it, that belongs to the category of fear, because it overwhelms me and compels me. Love is voluntary, fear is involuntary. So, again, if we already spoke about this, I don't need to repeat it, but you're walking in the park and you hear a baby crying, an infant. An infant was abandoned and is lying in the bushes crying. What do you do? Well, you can stop and think, do I really like babies? No, not really. And besides, that baby's not my baby, it's not my business. I'm just going to continue walking and mind my own business. Why not? Why not? And yet, most human beings, the vast majority of human beings, could not keep walking. Can't. No matter how jaded we may be, we can't just keep walking. And those who do will pay a terrible price. They won't sleep for a month. Their guilt, their conscience will bother them, right? That's a human being. Minimal human being. Those who can continue walking without a conscience, oh, those are scary. And that's definitely the exception. So what is it? Why can't I keep walking? It's not my baby. I don't like babies. He probably needs to be diapered, and I don't do diapers. It's not my business. I'm on my way to an important meeting. I can't be late. So I can't be bothered with this. And yet I cannot. I can't. You're walking past a lake and someone is drowning. It's none of your business. You don't know the person who's drowning. You're not a lifeguard. Nobody pays you to save drowning people. So keep walking and mind your own business. I can't. I can't. I may jump in and try to save him. Or if I'm not brave enough for that, I'll stand there and scream for somebody. This is an amazing thing when you stop and think about it. The virtue of this kind of fear is incredible. Much, much greater than love. Love is not going to make me jump in and save that person. First of all, because I don't love this person. It has nothing to do with love. Secondly, if I'm motivated by love, then I will do everything I can. But there's only so much that I can do. I'm a human being. So if I see someone drowning, I have to stop and think, am I a good swimmer? Can I swim at all? What am I jumping in to save him? I can't swim myself. Love will stop you. You won't jump in. Because when you're feeling love, you're being yourself. That's you. And if I'm being who I am, well, I am a guy who cannot swim. So I'm not going to jump in. That would be crazy. But if I'm doing it because I can't continue walking, I can't just let him drown, I'm going to jump in. And the fact that I can't swim, irrelevant. Because this is not about me. So now all of a sudden, I will somehow, some way manage to save that person, and I don't know how I did it because I can't swim. Like those incidences where a person picks up a bus or a car or a truck off a child, not out of love. Love can't do that. No matter how much I love someone, I cannot pick up a car. And the proof is, if I was stuck under that same car, could I pick it up? Why not? If I'm stuck, I would try to pick the car up out of love for myself. And love can't pick up cars. But when I'm motivated by this kind of fear, calling it fear because it's bigger than me. My opinion doesn't count. My abilities don't count. My strength doesn't count. Something has to happen and I can't stop it. That kind of fear makes me stronger than I am, smarter than I am, braver than I am. So, what really motivates picking up a car is the need. This needs to happen. So I become as strong as the need.
Rabbi Friedman, but why do we call it a fear rather than bravery? Because it seems to be the other thing.
Now, even bravery is limited. I'm not going to attack single-handedly. I'm not going to go attack an army. That's suicide. So even bravery, I'm only as brave as I am. So if a person would stop and think, even for a second, there's a child trapped under the car, I think I'll go and pick it up. Can I pick up a car? That's it, you can't do it. If you stopped and thought about it, your own limits, your own inability would kick in and, no, I can't pick up a car. And then you can't. But when the need, the urgency is so strong, you don't even have time to stop and think. You're beyond yourself, beyond your strength, beyond your bravery, and certainly beyond your love. Then you become it. You become the need. And then whatever needs to happen, you'll manage it. So, for example, it's a silly question, but there's a child trapped under a car. The car is a Volkswagen Beetle. I pick it up. But what if it was a Lincoln Continental? Oh, no, that's already too heavy. No, it's not. It doesn't make a difference. Oh, I can pick up a car, but not a truck. Hey, a truck, that's heavy. Doesn't matter, you pick up the truck. So there's something almost superhuman about that. And that comes from fear, not from love. No, so all the Jews throughout history who would not bow, they would not cave in. They stood up against the tortures and the threats and the pain and the suffering under the communists, under the Romans, throughout history. Where does that strength come from? So some people say, well, it's the love of God. They love God so much that they're going to stay loyal to Him. No. Love was never that strong. It's fear. And fear doesn't mean I'm afraid of getting hurt. Fear means I can't just keep on walking. Or I can't just stop being Jewish.
Rabbi Friedman, can we take this a little bit differently? Again, I just would like to go back to the state of the world and the revelations of stuff that's very unpleasant, to say the least. And what about the feeling of disgust? What about the feeling of repulsion? What about the feeling that we pretty much have had it with all of this? And I think I do strongly believe that after last Sunday, a lot of people feel the way I feel. And it's like we just had enough with this immorality, with this whatever is being called art is really not art. We're being fooled into thinking that this is an expression of self, higher form of art. Whatever it is, it's nonsense. It's disgusting. It's evil. It's gross. I honestly, the only feeling I have after seeing and only that little piece of it, I did not, of course, watch the whole thing. Violation, and I'm sure there are a lot of people who share what I feel. Do these feelings move us a little bit closer to something? Or are these feelings and these attitudes can they help work out, the bad situation we're in? I mean, can they help maybe get rid of some bad stuff that we need to deal with today, unfortunately?
Well, it's certainly a good thing. It's a lot better than being so jaded that it doesn't even bother you. But, like I was saying, when will we finally take some action? Not when we love goodness, not when we're brave enough, not when we're disgusted enough, but when it just can't be anymore. I can't. This cannot. Like what children are being taught in public schools today, yeah, you can call it disgusting, you can call it terrible, are you going to do something about it? Only if you reach a point where, oh no, cannot. How can a mother stand by and watch them destroy her kid? Can't. When we reach that point, which is a fear of God, literally, people say it's just an opinion, it's my value system. No, it's a fear of God. That's really what it is.
Rabbi Friedman, why is it a fear of God? Why is the state you call to be a fear of God?
Because fundamentally, when we get right down to it, whether we like it or not, whether we admit it or not, every true value that we have, like this is wrong or this is right, can only come from God. Because when you make an absolute statement, this is absolutely wrong. There is no argument, there is no logic that can convince me otherwise. This is absolutely wrong. You're quoting God. There's no other way. And I think this is dawning on many people. If you have true values, they're coming from God, whether you call it that or not. Because if there isn't an absolute judge who determines what is absolutely right and what is absolutely wrong, then all of your morality is just an opinion. So today you find it disgusting. Stick around, you'll get used to it, you'll develop a taste, and all of a sudden you're going to start to like it like everybody else. And that's the danger. And that's why, until we reach a point where this cannot, that's it cannot be, then you get a backlash, then you get a reaction, and things can become better. It will become better. They will become better. Because we are reaching this point where, okay, that's it. No more arguments, no more polite conversations. This is it. Cannot be.
I keep going back to the same question. Even how did we get here? How did we get so confused? And how did we, a few years ago, thought that this is the coolest thing, and these Grammys, these Oscars, this lifestyle, and it gathered the biggest audience of the year. Everybody are glued to the TV and watching this and wanting to be there and being envious of everybody who they were seeing getting these awards. And now it became so disgusting. I mean, first of all, how did we get to that point where we thought it was cool and glamorous and fantastic and the goal of life?
Listen, Hollywood is brilliant. Some of the greatest minds are behind what Hollywood does. But it begins really not with bad people. It begins with people who are amoral, not immoral. Amoral means there's no real morality. Nice people are nice, not nice people are not nice. It's the way it is. Choose your friends. If you want to be moral, so hang around moral people. If you want to be immoral, hang about. There was no absolute compelling reason to be moral. It was optional. Moral was just one possibility. It's that attitude that allows evil to literally take over. So now we'd have to go back to right is right, and no arguments are going to change that. And no pretty costumes or, songs that glorify evil. It's not going to work. It's not working, by the way. It's not. So going back to Satan, what exactly is Satan? Some evil being that comes to poke you and burn you and curse you and make your life a misery? No. There's no such force in the universe. There is no absolute evil in the universe. There are acts that are absolutely evil. But nobody's forcing you to do it. So, from Jewish thinking rather than Christian thinking, Satan is just an angel that does its job like every other angel. The most it can do is tempt you to sin. It can't force you to sin. It can't possess you so that you have no choice but to. There's no such force. So these images, these pictures of demons and Satans and hell and fires, and it's all so materialistic. Talking about a very subtle and very spiritual subject. You can't reduce it down to cartoon pictures. But again, people need to ascribe their personal evil to some overwhelming evil force that even God can't handle. It's ridiculous. Literally not allowed to believe it. It's idolatry. Like Greek mythology, it's not kosher and not true. So there's good in the world, there's evil in the world. The evil is without content, without substance. It's emptiness, it's falsehood. And it needs to be false because otherwise it has nothing to offer. If you don't have the glitter, you've got nothing. Truth without glitter is an even healthier truth. If you don't embellish the truth, then it's more true. But if you don't embellish evil, there's nothing there. So without the sizzle, evil has nothing. And Hollywood perfected the art of sizzle. I can put a sizzle to anything, including Satan. Make anything. I remember we came to Minnesota, 1970, and the store at the corner where we lived was a little supermarket. It was called Piggly Wiggly. We were horrified. Like all of a sudden, pigs are cute. Why would you buy any food in a store called Piggly? Oh yeah, it was very attractive, it's cute. No, it's not cute.
It's cute now. People have little tiny pigs, toy pigs as pets. It's something that's a little common these days.
Yes. You make a cartoon, a cute drawing that isn't real to life, and you can make anything and sell any product. Why do kids have jelly beans with a taste of vomit, taste of skunk? It's so demoralizing. It reduces us to such low, mindless levels of behavior. Is there somebody behind all of this trying to demoralize us? Sure feels like it. Because I can't imagine this happens by itself. So is it all just another way of making money? You know, they'll advertise cigarettes and make it look glamorous, and there's nothing so good looking as a cigarette in your lips. So what if it kills you?
Rabbi Friedman, but a lot of people feel like there is a very definite war that somebody is leading against God, against holiness. I mean, everything that we're seeing more and more, and you were the one who called it first. I remember in the beginning of everything, in the beginning, before the pandemic, before everything, you called it, you said, we're in to see a separation between the good and evil. It seems like not just a separation, it seems like there's a real war going on, like we see it. It's whatever we're seeing is really against morality, which is obviously against God. And what is the best tool to fight it? How do we fight it? How do we unite, all of us, all the people who are seeing it? How do we unite so we say, yeah, we don't want this, we can't tolerate it, just like you said, it can't be anymore. This is terrible. This is unacceptable.
Well, the first step is we're not fooled anymore. If you can't fool us anymore, then you've lost. Because without fooling us, they've got nothing to sell. They've got nothing to offer. So the first thing is to simply refuse to be impressed. The people who are doing this are a tiny minority. Okay, they control the media. But how many people does it take to control the media? A few billionaires and some charismatic face. That's it. It's not impressive. Not if they control the media, they must be really powerful. Not really. Not really. Would you say Walt Disney was a very powerful man? Mm. He made cartoons. We gave him power by making him so popular. Not a powerful person. He's a ridiculous person. So, no intimidation. We're not impressed with the evil. We're not intimidated by the evil. They're all shallow and desperate individuals who are going to implode anyway, if not today, tomorrow. And it's a real pity on them. So the more we look at how evil it gets, the more obvious it is that it's going to implode. They've got nothing to keep them going except lies. Once the lies are not believed, it's finished. It's finished. And I think we can be quite confident and predict with confidence that once it starts to go, they're going to turn on each other. Nobody has to accuse them of anything. They'll run to outdo each other in revealing how evil they are. One will accuse the other of an evil, and the accused will retaliate by revealing a greater evil. And then a third party will come along and say, and that's not all. There was even more evil.
I'm going to watch that sitcom. I think it's going to be fun. Rabbi Friedman, amazing.
So we are going to be horrified and frightened by how evil it was. And on the other hand, we knew it's going to end. It had to end. Like communism had to fall apart. It was just a question of how soon and who gets the credit.
Rabbi Friedman, we're getting, unfortunately, close to the end of our program, but this week is an amazing week as far as the Torah is concerned. We're actually receiving the Torah. This is the most amazing parsha, and it's very inspirational. But all our inspiration during this hour comes from you, that takes us through to the entire week. And can you just leave us with some words of Torah and something that will inspire us to take away from this program for the rest of the week?
Somebody in Israel sent me a clip of a Palestinian spokesman who was being interviewed, and he says, at least the clip begins with Baruch Hashem. The guy says, what? He says, yes, Baruch Hashem. He says, look, Allah and Hashem are the same thing. And what Allah wants is obviously going to happen, and you can't fight it. Allah wants the Jewish people to live in the land of Israel and teach the whole world how to follow the Torah. And there's no way that you can change that or resist that or fight that. Believe us? It is actually the belief in the Muslim world that the Torah is true and that what God wants is going to happen. How did they get so far away from their own faith? They were always more comfortable or more familiar with Judaism. The Crusades were between Muslims and Christians, not with Jews. I don't know what happened and how they got so alienated from their own belief. But look, it's starting to come out. We believe in Allah. Allah gave the land to Israel, to the Jews. What are we doing? Is that a little optimistic?
That is amazingly optimistic. Thank you for that, Rabbi Friedman. It does feel like the world is getting better. It does feel like we're close to people finally seeing the truth, understanding the truth from all walks of life. It's just getting a little antsy. Have been antsy for a little bit now to see it actually all come to light. Rabbi Friedman, thank you so much. Thank you for this time. Thank you for your inspiration. Thank you for the clarity. And thank you for everything you do on a daily basis. And may your family only see simcha.
Amen, for all of us.
For all of us. Thank you. Thank you so much. And so looking forward to our next program, which is the light and the highlight of our radio. Thank you so much.
We should have lots of good news by next week.
Amen. Amen. Thank you. Ну и, конечно же, огромное спасибо всем, кто нас слушает в это время, эту передачу Thank God It's Tuesday с Раввином Манисом Фридманом. Всегда интересно, всегда позитивно, всегда вдохновительно, и это абсолютно бесценно. А те, кто хотят его послушать ежедневно, пожалуйста, заходите на его YouTube-канал. Также у него есть уроки персональные, тоже можно подписаться. Книги на Амазоне, прогуглите Rabbi Manis Friedman, и там столько добра, столько позитива, столько мудрости, что просто в наше время оно все необходимо. И еще раз хочу поблагодарить всех, кто нас сегодня слушал, и пожелать всем хорошей недели, много добра и света.
Каждый вторник в 12:10 один из самых известных раввинов нашего времени, Манис Фридман, в прямом эфире отвечает на вопросы наших слушателей. Вы услышите мнение самой мудрой книги человечества – Библии, о самых сложных проблемах, стоящих перед современным миром. Присылайте ваши вопросы заранее на наш имейл info@rusa.fm или во время передачи по СМС 347 460